I'm Andrea Habora with Next Advance, and I'm going to be giving you a few tips on how to work with agricultural samples in the bullet blender. The samples we'll be talking about today are things like dried soybeans, corn, rice, sorghum, anything you might need for crop analysis. But a lot of the techniques that I'll be talking about will also work on things like insects or shells or tough leaves or other difficult samples. This is the Bullet Blender 5 Storm, which is a particularly good machine for this kind of work. It is very powerful and does a good job on grinding hard samples, and also the dimensions of the tube are particularly favorable for using heavy grinding media. In many cases, you can just take a hard sample like rice here, unprocessed, and just put it in your tube, add a bead, and it's ready to process. If you're not feeling terribly awake in the lab, you can also do coffee this way. So, 3 coffee beans in, media in. Just pop it into the machine. The machine can take up to 12 tubes at a time. Check your time and your speed and press start. And 5 minutes later, runs over, take your samples out. As you can see, they're very well homogenized. And as you can see, what you've got here is rice flour. And it's about the consistency of baby powder. It's very fine and is ready for your downstream application. Now, some samples, such as dried soybeans, are just too large and round to be efficiently homogenized this way. And if you work with samples like this, you may have resorted to desperate measures such as the hammer and baggie method in order to get them crushed. And if you've done that, you know it's a very messy and slow process and that it's very easy to cross-contaminate your samples. So we've come up with a much better solution. We call this the Stomper. And this is a device for pre-crushing your samples right in the sample tube so they can be efficiently homogenized. So here's some examples of sample types that really benefit from some pre-processing. Dried corn, mung beans, dried soybeans. These will all process much faster if they're used in the Stomper. So using the Stomper is pretty simple. Just put your sample in the tube. We have some kernels of dried corn here. Place it in the tube holder. Place that under the plunger of the Stomper. Take a protective shield. Slide into the shield holder. So you can see the shield has completely protected the sample. All you have to do is tug on the handle and remove it. These are made out of an extremely sturdy plastic, so they will not punch through. This sample is now ready to homogenize. So as you can see, the corn kernels have not been homogenized, but they have been crushed. And this means they will be processed efficiently in a bullet blender. And the tube itself is completely undamaged. You don't have to take the sample out of here. You just add your grinding media, put it in the bullet blender, and press start. So here's the corn, mung beans, and soybeans after processing. So this is what they look like after the Stomper, and this is what they look like after time in the bullet blender. And in each case, the bullet blender samples are very, very fine and are about the consistency of baby powder and are ready for your downstream application.